Hey Lunartics Collective. These are our full moon readings for the full moon in Aries tomorrow on the 13th of October 2019. They are also our lunar pools, so our daily readings for the 13th as well. We are going to do 12 readings, one for each of the signs, and a message for the collective. Wanted to flip out as I was beginning, just introducing the reading, right? And that is the Five of Cups and the Ace of Cups, an energy of mourning and losing, loss, crying over spilt milk, sometimes mourning too long, depending on the particular situation. And the advice to meet that energy with love. So whether that mourning and loss is found within you, your situation, or someone close to you, the advice here is to share openly about the loss, about the mourning process and period, to see where new love is being offered and introduced into our lives, or where we can introduce new love, new emotional beginnings and opportunities and offers into others' lives, as a way of not replacing, but really filling in where energy has left. Clearly something has exited, something or someone has exited and feels like a loss for someone here. For a lot of you, it will be you. And where is the divine offering us new love in this energy stead, right? Where there has been loss. Where are we not seeing it? How can sharing openly with others help us make it through this mourning period, or help someone else to cope? Again, it might be someone else close to you. So that in general is coming through here at the end of Libra season 2019. That's coming through for the collective regarding the Aries full moon. And since the moon is full in Aries, we will be starting with the sign of Aries. Everything should be time stamped down below. Again, we're doing 12 readings, one for each of the signs, and they're going to be just very short, just looking at 3 cards unless more insist coming out, right? And before we get started, as I continue to shuffle up a little bit, I just want to say thank you, as always, to everyone who supports Lunartics Tarot in all of the ways that you do. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, ordering, donating. It's all so very appreciated. And if you would like to order a personal reading from me, all of your options and links can be found down below in the description box. And with that, we will get started with Aries full moon reading for the Aries full moon in October 2019. Hi Aries. Let's see what's coming through for you at your full moon. I hope you are making the most of this full moon energy, your full moon energy, and the end of Libra season in general. It looks like expedited progress, a lot of fast energy, communication, likely for a lot of you as well. Fast movement happening regarding your passions, your passion projects. Again, likely communication as well for a lot of you at this time, Aries. So yeah, seeing expedited progress in anything that you've been working on recently around this time. A lot of energy, a lot of focused energy, a lot of energy and or communication focused in the same direction, on the same passion, the same project. But also experiencing from your point of view probably a lot of different, if it is communications, a lot of different energy coming in from different directions. I still see it, all aiming in one direction at one passion, one project, but coming from many different sources, right? We're not going to take all of these cards. There's a lot to be said about that, right? But we're just doing very short readings today for the new moons. But I see the Four of Chalices, the Hermit, the Star, Virgo energy, Aquarian energy, the Queen of Cups coming through. This is Scorpio energy to me a lot of the times, and we are entering Scorpio season shortly, right? We do have Venus in Scorpio now. along with Mercury. So it looks like for a lot of you, Aries, some of this communication, some of this passion, this focused energy and communication because of a passion does have to do with love. It'll be slightly different for all of you, but you certainly at least love what it is that you're doing one way or another, right? The advice here is to proceed forward with confidence, not to be arrogant, Aries, but to proceed forward with confidence. And there can be that fine line between confidence and arrogance, right? For all of us. And we don't want to be too egoic about all of this expedited progress, this focused and passionate energy, right? But you certainly do have a lot going for you and a lot going on around this time. So again, the advice is to proceed forward with confidence, but to make sure you're walking on the right side of that fine line between confidence and arrogance. It's also to go ahead and take the second step forward, the second step down a chosen path and a chosen direction. It looks like you have chosen a direction, you are proceeding forward, but it's time for that next step, likely the second step for a lot of you. And it looks like you have plenty of energy coming in to support that. And yet we did see the Four of Cups flip out. So maybe because of a love situation, an emotional situation, some of you are sort of teetering on the edge, on the fence, trying to decide whether or not you should take the second step forward. And you've already started down this path, you've already chosen this direction. That's why you're seeing a lot of energy and or communication regarding your chosen passion project that you're focusing on, right, Aries? So take that second step. It is time. Do so with confidence. Don't do so arrogantly. I don't think it's time to withdraw because of a love or emotional situation. And I see some of you may be deciding on whether or not you're going to do that around this time. There's this energy of the Queen of Swords on the bottom of the deck for us. So Aquarian energy, Gemini energy, Libra energy. We are, of course, still in Libra season, as we said at the beginning. And this is someone who's seeing the truth clearly, seeing the truth of those who come to spend time with her, to give her information. Are they being honest? So assessing all of the communication that's coming in, assessing all of the energy that it is focused at it looks like something that you're very excited about, right? And assessing what's true, what's real, what is your truth, what is for you, right, Aries? What can help you to progress and proceed further, especially in terms of doing so with confidence but not arrogance, as we said, right? So that is mainly off the top of the deck what I see coming through for you around the full moon in Aries. That's the energy coming at you. You have this option here, because we see the Eight of Swords below the Queen of Swords, to sort of regress into a state of keeping yourself blind, when truly you can see the truth. We had the Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck as well. When we began your reading, and it's like the truth is coming in. If you haven't had it already, then with all of this communication and energy that's coming in towards you around this time, the truth is apparent. It is available for you, and there just may be for some of you some reason why you don't want to see it, you don't want to know. Some of you don't like what taking this second step in your chosen direction means or entails, while others of you, it may mean taking you away from someone that you're interested in, or accepting that someone is pulling away from you that you're very invested in or interested in, right? Something of that nature. It's going to be slightly different for everyone, but there's this element of not wanting to see a truth that is obvious and blatant and apparent to you, that really is going to elevate you to embrace and to act upon. It's going to make sure that what you're investing your time in, who you have surrounding you, are individuals that are worthy of your time and your energy, right? It's going to ultimately attract like-minded individuals and kindred spirits into your circle and help to stabilize your community and or immediate home, bring emotional fulfillment as I dig down deeper into the deck for you, Aries. But a lot of times with the Queen of Swords, it means cutting someone out of that immediate circle, dismissing someone in some way, at least seeing them less, spending less time with them because of the sort of falsified information that they're bringing to you, and just not wanting that type of treatment, behavior, or outright lies, even for some around you in your ear. And it's usually also a painful cut to make. It's difficult, but there's information coming in that's undeniable. The energy or information coming in makes the truth clear, and to do anything else besides make this cut would be to choose to keep yourself blind and leave these spots in your life filled with sort of fakers when they could be filled with these kindred spirits, and will be in the near future if you give them a chance. These kindred spirits and like-minded individuals, right? So you may have to make some cuts in order to take the next step forward, and it's happening very quickly. Again, let's act with confidence and not arrogance, Aries. So with that, we will leave it in your very capable hands. I love you, Aries, and enjoy this full moon energy, and I will post another reading for us just as soon as I can. Leos. Let's see what we see for Leos around the really surrounding and following the Aries full moon at the end of Libra season 2019. How is fixed fire faring in this cardinal fire full moon energy, right? In cardinal air season. Well, it looks like there is a major cycle completing at this time for you, Leos, with the World card showing up representing you. You are, some of you, feeling capable of manifesting whatever you want at this time. Finally feeling capable of that, maybe having the know-how, the resources, the station, really the perspective. There's a new emotional beginning here. So for some, actually a literal birth, but it's the birth of someone, and for more of you, likely that is a new version of yourself. And if you're not feeling capable of manifesting whatever you want, you are certainly feeling capable, a lot more capable of manifesting a lot more of what you've been wanting, or whatever it is that you want now. You're seeing how to effectively utilize all of the tools at your disposal. And this major completion, though, Leos, is painful nonetheless. It is the end of what has been a negative, painful cycle for you, for some, in relation to an Aries, Sag, or Leo, a mature, masculine Aries, Sag, or Leo. For others, this is just that energy of the Aries full moon showing up, and for some, this is this energy in your own chart, Aries, Sag, or Leo energy in your own chart. But there is a loss here. You know, I keep saying I'm just going to look at a few cards, and then I can't help but dig down into the deck. There is a loss here. Your advice is to allow things to sort of fall apart at this time. If that means that an argument needs to be had, you know, what words need to be shared or spoken that cause some sort of a rift or a fight, you know, whatever it means, what we see here is a lot of things falling away from you. Maybe people, certainly, maybe habits, patterns, behaviors, places. etc., that really were not meant for you. A whole routine, a whole lifestyle, a job, multiple things at once, right? It'll be slightly different for each individual Leo, of course, as always, but but we do see a foundation cracking, and what falls away really either was never meant for you or certainly isn't anymore, isn't at this time, and it's a result of this major completion. But you can, I get the feeling here, because this tower is really showing up as a piece of advice in this very short full moon reading. It's intended to be a piece of advice here in this position, and as that is your advice to allow things to fall apart and allow things to fall away, it gives us the feeling that because you have the ability to manifest whatever you want in this situation, right, that you could choose to repeat this negative cycle again. You could choose to resist allowing things to fall apart and fall away from you, because it may mean people that you're losing, or it's certainly, if nothing else, a version of yourself, essentially, that you're trying to hold on to in some way. And you should keep the lessons and the memories and should hold on in a certain way, in a certain sense, but also move forward. What needs to happen here, Leos, is that you deserve to celebrate this completion of a major cycle, even if on some level it feels like a loss, like a disturbing upheaval. It's likely that what this upheaval is rooted in, whether it's unexpected, shocking, disturbing, or not, it is likely that what it is rooted in is a truth. I always see this lightning bolt as a bolt of truth coming in and shaking your foundation, rocking your world, so to speak, and shaking away what doesn't fit with that core essential truth of yours that you really do want to build on, that you want to define a lot of you and your life, right? So it is and also in essence and ultimately a breakthrough for you, Leos, regardless of what has to fall away or shake away. But again, I do get the sense that the message here is that you could manifest whatever you want here. You can choose to repeat this negative cycle, though it is wanting to end, it is trying to end. This is a key, fated, really clutch moment for you to allow that to go ahead and happen. You may not get the chance again for some time. If you don't, it may be more difficult to try again if you do not. But that is what we see coming through for you, fixed fire around this cardinal fire full moon at the end of Libra season in 2019. I already mentioned that information on personal readings can be found down below. If you're interested, Leos, I just did a couple of pick-a cards for the collective, pick-a-card readings for the collective as well. You may check those out. What else do you need to know right now? And one of them is about making decisions. If you do feel torn on this decision, one of them is called This or That. Which path do I choose? Something like that. So you may check those out. Your monthly October reading is already up, of course, as well. I hope you make very wise decisions for yourselves moving forward, Leos. I love you, and I look forward to doing another reading for you as soon as I can. Sag. Hey, Sagittarius. Let's see what is coming through for you. King of Wands, King of Fire, card that often represents Sagittarius or any fire sign. Could be dealing with another Sagittarius or Aries or Leo around this time. But I do feel that for most of you, this card is representing you. And in this particular depiction, showing you feeling very passionate about your family, your community, those you are leading, in fact. Some of you in terms of being your own businessman or woman, being an entrepreneur of sorts when I see this card. Certainly networking, whether it's for a business purpose or not. You're feeling social. That networking is working for you in some way. Interesting. Crossed with, as I'm saying that, the Hermit card. an energy of solitude, a Virgo energy a lot of the time. So some of you also may be dealing with Virgo. It's great when the signs confirm things for us, but I wouldn't get too hung up on them, as we all always have all of the zodiac signs in our chart somewhere. They could always show up for us at different times for different reasons, right? Then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Fire, Seven of Wands. Sometimes an energy of being a little defensive, in this depiction, fearful, having been through a lot. That's what this is about for you, having probably endured a lot at the hands of people you were social with or networked with before. And so being a little fearful of branching out in that way again, feeling you have to defend yourself, your beliefs in some way for some reason around this time, Sag. My speakers are having a little bit of trouble. Let me check in with that and get right back to you. So Sag, what's really interesting to me showing up here is how bold and fearless this King of Wands that you show up as is. And that your both your advice and the overall sort of tone of the energy are both represented by an image that speaks of fear, and fear sort of controlling the shots to me in a sense. And so we know that you're not advised to step into any socializing or networking situations with fear, and to decide out of fear, but that is really what's showing up and coming through. So I think this very short snapshot here is saying to us that you may need some time for reflection and meditation. You may need to retreat into solitude, certainly to follow that instinct and sort of inclination when it arises, when it presents itself, in order to refrain from carrying an energy of defensiveness or fearfulness into anxiousness, right, into these social situations, these opportunities for networking, maybe for some of you, right? That may be really, really clutch around this time, just really, really paramount, right at the forefront. It may be sort of a warning in that sense. And when you do feel so inclined to have some time for solitude, or can make some time for it, Sag, it's also a reminder that you want to make sure that time is healing for you, that it is a time of meditation and for reflection and introspection, right? For unplugging for a lot of you, tuning out of others' opinions in general, and really tuning into that inner wisdom, because it does look like what you've had in the past are experiences, connections, relationships that have left you a little defensive, have left you expecting people to let you down. And some of you are carrying that with you to the extent of carrying it into these new connections, these new social situations. Others of you, this warning may be showing up as a reminder, because you may be forgetting and oversharing with some of these individuals around you who seem to be part of your community, seem to be trustworthy, seem to be supportive, right? So it could go either way there, but that's what I see coming through for you, Sag, around surrounding and following this Aries full moon. Make the most of the energy, the end of Libra season energy in general. I hope the needed insight was able to reach you here. Again, information on personal readings can be found down below. I love you, Sag, and I look forward to posting another reading for you just as soon as I can. Hey, Cancers. This is your full moon reading for the Cardinal Fire full moon, the Aries full moon, tomorrow on the 13th of October, 2019. Page of Feathers, Page of Air shows up. An air messenger. Here at the end of a cardinal air season, the end of Libra season, right? Exploration and discovery are noted on this particular depiction. This is the Paulina Cassidy SpirtSong Tarot deck. If you're interested in the imagery, this deck or any of the decks that I'm using today, you can check out more information in the description box down below. But this is showing up covering you. This is your energy showing up here. So Cancers, I'm getting the feeling that a lot of you this season, and especially surrounding and following this Aries full moon that we're talking about here, are seeing and knowing and unable to avoid the truth. And so you are the messengers. You are sharing it with a lot of people because you're seeing it. You just know it. You're getting those intuitive, claircognizant downloads. You're just running into instances that prove people's characters or the crux of certain situations. And you, I'm getting the feeling that you're this cerebral, airy messenger here at the end of Libra season, surrounding this fire full moon. You are the one discovering truths, digging deeper into truths that present themselves and sharing them then with those that you need to. It's part of just who you are, because you can see and know these truths about people and situations really year round. I feel like especially the intuitive knowings, and again the claircognizant type of downloads are just really heavy for a lot of Cancerians right now. And this is your card. This is a Cancerian card showing up on the bottom of the deck, the Chariot. Discipline and determination. So some of you around this time are wanting to really hone those intuitive skills, those psychic skills that maybe you feel like are developing as these truths present themselves to you. And then we have another air card as your advice, the Four of Feathers, the Four of Air, Four of Swords in a more traditional deck. Sanctuary and rest are noted in this depiction. And so there's this reminder here that with all of this, the psychic activity or this mental activity, this anticipation, prediction for a lot of you, it expends a lot of your energy. It may not look like it to the naked eye, but it expends a lot of energy, thinking about things in any sense, but using your mental faculties in any way. It's going to wear you out eventually. It's going to expend a lot of energy. So you want to make sure you're taking time for rest, for solemn contemplation and meditation, totally alone, totally without other influence, other people's opinions, right? So that's what I see coming through for Cancerians. This is you just acting as yourself, as is your nurturing, loving, motherly, psychic self, living and walking in your truth, wielding your truth as you are delivering messages of truth. The Hangman is showing up. There might be a Pisces involved here in your own chart or around you. The transformation card is showing up. That's the death card in this deck. So there may also be Scorpio energy around you, or we may just be talking about moving into Scorpio energy. The keywords that come through with those cards are patience, perspective, transition, and liberation, Cancers. Again, discipline and determination are here. Sanctuary and rest. Some of you may be needing to build in some sense a type of sanctuary, type of space that is only for rest and not for any type of connection that could wear you out. In living your truth and sharing truths about yourself specifically that need to be shared with others, delivering messages that may be difficult to carry, to deliver, to communicate for others to hear, receive, accept from you, Cancers. You are you are pushing ahead on your chosen path, and that is your way of not allowing anything to stop you on that path, resisting sharing a truth that needs shared with someone, because it may hurt them, or they may resist it in some way, try to deny it in some way, right? It could be something that could stop your forward, your sort of merciless and very energetic forward movement to slow or even stop, but you're not going to let it. That's something else I see coming through for the Lunartics collective of Cancers around this time. So with that, Cancerians, I hope that you make very wise decisions for yourselves moving forward. Definitely don't neglect your rest or taking the time to create that sort of sanctuary space for you if that's what is needed here. And I love you, Cancers, and I look forward to doing another reading for us just as soon as I can. Make the most of the Aries full moon energy. Hey, Scorpios. Let's see what is coming through for you around and following the Aries full moon. Working and in a partnership, some worries, some concerns here. Turning inward, inspecting your emotional response to the situation, trying to feel your way through said situation. It looks like a lot of you, true to form, remembering to be empathetic in this situation. We are using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot deck today, Scorpios. If you are interested in this deck or any of the decks that I use in this session, this full moon session, you can check out the description box down below for more information. What we have showing up for you, fixed water, around and following this cardinal fire full moon, is the High Priestess as what's representing you, being in a state of listening to your intuition, being very connected to your intuitive knowings, your subconscious, your dreams, your subconscious and your conscious, being in a dialogue, in a conversation, really. And being advised to see something through here, to acknowledge that there's a cycle closing, the end of something that is actually the end of a spiritual journey for you, likely a creative journey for you. And it is a burden to complete this cycle, right? Whatever it is that's coming to a completion, there's a burden to bear along with it, and you're advised to see it through. For a lot of you, that completion and why it's a burden is because it's about sharing a truth with someone or the world at large about yourself, living your truth in front of someone or, again, the world at large. Speaking, living, wielding, communicating, sharing, being open about, being forward with your truth in some sense, some decision that you've reached about yourself, your life, your path forward, I think, where you're going to concentrate your energy. I think for a lot of you, this has to do with work that you love to do, and it's you who's going to speak up about your future plans and the things you love to do well enough that you're committing to them for long term. Again, you're the one in connection with your intuitive knowings that are guiding you in this direction, right? So there's a need to stop waiting for someone else to help you through this final step. Oftentimes, Scorpios, with the completion of a spiritual journey like this, or even a creative journey, it's it's tied to your personal passions, your intuition has led you in this direction. And so it is your truth to share and your burden to bear here. And it may not play out exactly as you would plan or hope, but it will be completed, right? It is a lot to bear on your own. And oftentimes, though, those spiritual journeys, the 10 of Wands type of, 10 of Fire type of conclusions are things that you do have to do on your own and with the aid of the divine, as always, right? But otherwise on your own. So Scorpios, that is what I see coming through for you here. Some of you may be dealing with Taurian or Piscean energy, or Taurian or Piscean traits, aspects within your own birth chart. I wouldn't get too hung up on the signs, though. It's just great when they confirm things for us. Some of you have just been keeping a secret about yourself for some time, or about your life, your chosen path, again, the direction you are wanting to move forward in. I think you have a lot of confidence about moving in that direction, but you've had your reasons, each individual Scorpio, for keeping something close to the chest. And it's time to at least live, if not specifically share with someone this truth. The decision has been made. So we will leave it at that, Scorpios, for your short full moon session. Enjoy, make the most of the energy of the Aries full moon and the end of Libra season. I hope you will check out the description box down below if you are interested in ordering a personal reading. I think I already told you about those. And I love you, Scorps, truly, and I will post another reading for you just as soon as I can. Hey, Pisces. This is your full moon reading for the time surrounding and following this Aries full moon that is upon us now. It is on the 13th of October, 2019. And, I want to take these cards that immediately flipped out for you, Pisces. The 3 of Earth, 3 of Coins in this deck, and the Emperor. This is the Game of Thrones tarot deck, in case you're interested in this deck, the imagery, or any of the decks that I'm using in this full moon session. Just check out the description box down below. We've got the 2 of Cups, 2 of Chalices, the 2 of Water energy showing up on the bottom of the deck. So I see a union, a coupling, a partnership forming, a bond between 2 opposite energies forming here, Pisces, around this time, around this full moon for you. So it looks like at this cardinal fire full moon, mutable water is engaging in collaborations of sorts. For some of you, these collaborations are simply necessities. They are necessary, and so they're not exactly playful. But also for a lot of you, the work you are doing, that you're engaging in is actually work that you love to do, Pisceans. So there may be a boss or an otherwise domineering or dominating figure in this collaboration, someone who brings structure and order and discipline to the operation, right? That is a little too egoic, a little too bossy for your liking, for things to flow exactly harmoniously between the two of you or amongst the group, right? It makes the dynamic a little brusque, a little commanding, less enjoyable and comfortable and emotionally satisfying in terms of the connections and the relationships that are forming. But also, as I said, does seem to bring this masculine element of rules and structure to the table. So it might be someone that you're working with, that you're having trouble working with, but it also can be a divine masculine counterpart even, but certainly can be representing this this opposite energy that you're coming together with here. For some of you, this is in terms of your work life, your career, a project you're working on, but for others, that's in your love life. That is a romantic situation even, that you're doing work you love to do, and so coming together with this divine masculine opposite around this time and working on a bond, working on a connection, and that in that sense is gorgeous. Pisces, for those of you that are applying this to work, it does look like there may be a necessary collaboration with a divine masculine figure here, who is or a dominating masculine character here, who is not the easiest to work with, but does bring the necessary opposite energy to the table here, and so pushes this work and this project forward for you. Someone's making an emotional offer here as well. A lot of you may be dealing with a Virgo energy, just to get more specific, but as always, wouldn't get too hung up on the signs. It's just great when they confirm things for us. It looks like this is headed in the direction of emotional fulfillment, shared emotional fulfillment, and a brand new beginning for you, Pisces. And so I would keep walking this path. I like where it's leading. There's just there's some work that needs to be done with this connection with the divine masculine character here, with this energy of structure. And as I said, this can be two opposite energies within you coming together and deciding to work together, Pisces. So yeah, that could be you trying to introduce structure into work that you love to do, right? However it plays out for you specifically, that's what we see coming through around and following the Aries full moon. If you are interested in a personal reading, I already told you all at the beginning, information on that can be found down below in the description box as well. I hope you make very wise choices for yourselves moving forward, Pisces, and I love you truly. Make the most of the rest of a Libra season and this Aries full moon energy, and I look forward to doing another reading for us just as soon as I can. Hey Capricorns, this is your full moon in Aries reading. At the end of Libra season 2019, the Temperance card shows up for you to represent you in this time surrounding and following the cardinal fire full moon that we have. So how is cardinal earth faring at this time? You also have the Knight of Fire, Knight of Spears in this deck showing up for you as a piece of advice. We want to be attracting like-minded individuals, kindred spirits, surrounding ourselves with those types of people, friends, energies at this time, Capricorns. As you remain in a state of flow, in a state of quiet, effortless focus, studying, researching, applying what you're finding, what you're learning, channeling a lot of time and energy, patience, precision into those activities you're most focused on. Likely for a lot of you, one particular subject area or activity. And your intuition has a lot to do with this. The priestess in this deck, the high priestess, shows up on the bottom of the deck. This is the Game of Thrones tarot, Capricorns. If I didn't tell you, if you're interested in this imagery, these decks, this deck or any of the decks rather that I am using in this session, just scroll down to the description box below where you can find more information. So that's all we're pulling for this very short full moon reading here, Capricorns. And so a lot of you may be working on something that does require a lot of patience as well as focus at this time, and you're advised that it's time to sort of pick up the pace. You're advised to go ahead and speed things up a little bit here. I also feel like for most of you, what's happening here is that you are keeping a lot of things to yourself. Things you're learning about yourself, your path, that which you are studying, researching around this time, Capricorns. And this work, as I said, requires a lot of patience. This study requires a lot of patience. So it's a lot of time where you're learning things that you're keeping to yourself. And you're starting to feel and believe that, in fact, this work is taking so long that you may never get to a point where you have anyone that you can share what you're learning here with. You may be believing that no one else can understand these perspectives, and it's simply not true, right? There are others out there that can understand what you're studying, what you want to talk about, what you're researching, what you're learning about yourself, others that can properly receive it, can accept it, can give you feedback, can make you feel good about sharing it, right? You're just not around those people. And so that's why I think you're advised here to get this, to focus on manifesting or calling in or just surrounding yourself with these types of kindred spirits and like-minded individuals who are studying similar things, interested in similar things, who can really hear what you're saying when they listen to you, right? Can really perceive what you're saying, can really relate, understand, empathize, again, make you feel that sharing, letting some of these secrets out, some of this knowledge you've been carrying about yourself, what you've been studying, etc., all the above, your path, your life in general, is it's a positive thing when you open up and share it, right? It's absolutely possible. Those energies are here. There may be a very significant Piscean around you at this time. Maybe a Taurus, maybe a Pisces with the High Priestess in the upright, or perhaps a fire sign as well, a Sag, Aries, or Leo. And there's also an urge and a suggestion here to see that maybe others around you aren't meant to understand or carry or accept this knowledge about you or that you're learning, have been learning on their path, at least not at this time in this lifetime for them, right? That there's a need not only for you but for the collective to share with like-minded individuals, kindred spirits, and that this is also mystic energy speeding toward enlightenment. So I do think it will really expedite your progress to have individuals who can add to what you're learning around you, right? Keep an open mind about what you're talking about, encourage you to continue down that path and add to that knowledge base in addition, right? So that's what I see coming through for you, Capricorns, again, around the full moon in Aries. I hope that you make very wise decisions for yourselves moving forward. I think I already told you, I did at the beginning of the session about personal readings. If you're interested in ordering one from me, just scroll down to the description box below where you can find more information and links. Otherwise, I look forward to doing another reading for you, Caps, as soon as I can. And I love you. Make the most of this full moon energy. Hey, Taurus. This is your full moon reading for October 13th, the time surrounding and following October 13th, 2019. It is in Aries. The full moon is in Aries, right? So let's see how fixed Earth is faring at this cardinal fire full moon at the end of cardinal air season. I hope you are all making the most of the end of Libra season as we get ready for Halloween and Scorpio season, of course. First card out, the card representing you in this very short full moon reading, Taurians, is the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Air, really the Ace of Truth usually for me, and you are crossed with the Four of Swords just as Maybe it was Scorpios, one of the water signs, maybe your sister sign, Taurus. But there has been one just couple few signs back now that was also crossed with the Four of Swords. So you too are advised to make time for solemn contemplation and meditation and sanctuary and rest as well. Maybe creating a sanctuary space, maybe taking someone up on an offer of some energetic healing, seeking out some type of Reiki or any other type of energetic healing that sees you through, that elevates you, Taurians. But also that time for solemn contemplation and meditation, away from anyone else's opinions and thoughts and beliefs and criticisms. This is a time to show gratitude for what has seen you through the battles of the past, recent and distant, what has kept you alive in any sense, right? Who has seen you through. To find gratitude in your present situation if you are lacking that at this time, certainly within that meditation time. That is, if nothing else, mainly what you are to be contemplating on in this space is what else do you not show gratitude for? Do you not see that you have to be grateful for, right? What else can you find? What else can you really dig into in your surroundings, in your own mind, your own heart, that you have to be grateful for? What have you not squeezed the last drops of juice out of, in that sense, in that respect, right? As far as seeing all that there is to be grateful for. That is mainly what you're contemplating on, if nothing else, that you need to take into that space. And I think for a lot of you, you need to, it's paramount at this time, around this time, for you to show gratitude to whatever has revealed this truth to you that is covering you. A lot of you are living your truth, standing in your truth, communicating your truth, wielding this truth. The Six of Fire, Six of Spears in this deck, is on the bottom of the deck. So this is a victorious time for you. Owning this truth, seeing it, knowing it, maybe sharing it, acting with it. A lot of you are cutting ties because of this truth, right? So who revealed that to you, or what revealed that to you? What quality or aspect or trait is it within yourself that made that sight, that knowing possible, right? Because it is a victory, even if there is a tie that needs to be cut here. And I also wanted to mention, Taurians, that this is the Game of Thrones tarot that we are using today. I'm not sure if I said that yet. Information on this deck and all the decks that I use in Lunartics Tarot readings in this entire full moon session can be found down below in the description box. So let me see if I can get that volume down just a smidge, and then we will talk a little bit more about these. If it wasn't a truth revealed, a revelation in the sense of some truth being revealed and is now known, it may be a revelation in the sense of an epiphany, and so a perspective shift. But again, ask the questions, Taurian, who inspired that perspective shift, right? What aspects of yourself allowed for that perspective shift? Cutting the ties may be the battle. Certain people or things, parts of yourself may see you through that. There may be a battle before or after the cutting of ties, if that is what's happening here. Again, just keep in mind, remember that this is a victorious time. It's a victory for you. So that space needs cleared in your life to invite an energy that matches yours better, that's healthier for you, that will elevate you, that will truly keep you better company. In a lot of cases, that will secure your home, invite in lengthy, divine, fated, karmic, but soulful and lasting connections, bonds, contracts here, soulmate energies, other or whatever, whatever any other also divine, soulful connections, right? Whatever you might label them. that really, you know, make your home, your community a more secure, comfortable, happy, peaceful, inviting, relaxing place. It is, if this is not representative of you living entirely authentically at this time, then it's certainly representative of you taking a step toward that, owning this truth, knowing this truth, living this truth. And so there's just such a call to rest after all of this mental activity, it may be cutting of ties, but certainly a communication on some level of truth and acceptance of it, right? Learning to speak it, learning to use it, learning to speak up with it, right? And following through, really taking action in that as well, I think. So there's this time for this call for creating a sanctuary and finding rest after that energy and any energy of cutting ties, and also to truly show gratitude for what has seen you through past battles, that has seen you through those battles and to this victory that this truly is. It is a humbling victory. It has changed you, right? But it is a victory nonetheless, and you are still standing, and you are so much stronger for it. And the path continues to look brighter because of this victory, on the back of this victory, right? So who inspired it, who helped you through it, what aspects of you truly find time and space for that solemn contemplation and meditation regarding what you're grateful for. This is that time. This is that time for us, Taurians. I forgot that the message was for me too in this instance. I love when that happens. It's my sun sign. So that's what I see coming through for us at the time surrounding and following the full moon in Aries, Taurians. With that, I hope that you will make very wise decisions for yourselves moving forward. I hope the needed insight was able to reach you. If the message did not resonate, that doesn't mean that another full moon or new moon reading will not. I hope you'll check back. I'm also doing lunar pools daily, so there are those as well. I do them as close to daily as possible. These are your lunar pools for the 13th instead, though. And thank you so much. I think I said that at the beginning already, for anyone who contributes to Lunartics Tarot. If you are interested in ordering a personal reading from me, just scroll down to the description box below. Check out all of the information and links that you would need there. And otherwise, I love you, Taurians, truly, and I look forward to doing another reading for us as soon as I can. Make the most of the Aries full moon energy. Hey Virgos, this is your full moon reading for the time surrounding and following October 13th, 2019, of course. The full moon is in Aries, cardinal fire energy. So how are you faring, mutable earth? It's an emotional time for you, and you have to find your strength to get through it, Virgos. Not the first time that I feel like we've gotten this type of a message for Virgos this season. Libra season, cardinal air season. We've got the Queen of Air, Queen of Swords, on the bottom of the deck here. This is the Game of Thrones tarot deck, in case you're interested in the images, this deck, or any of the decks I'm using in this full moon session. Virgos, there's more information down below in the description box, where you can also find information on personal readings if you'd like to order from me. The Queen of Cups here is telling me that you are feeling your way through this time. Again, the time surrounding and following the Aries full moon on October 13th, 2019, tomorrow for me. Some of you are dealing with a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio around this time, and you are actually, using your head more than your heart, thinking about this situation, and you do see the truth of it if that is the case. For a lot of you, it's a Scorpio. For a lot of you, you're just having a lot of emotions coming in regarding what you are or will be releasing as Scorpio season approaches. And this is the cause, for the advice being to find your strength. Now, another way I would read the strength card here is Virgos, that you are advised to show yourself unconditional love at this time. So with the Queen of Cups, yes, she is feeling her way through her present situation. She's also a very empathetic individual, and she knows that being empathetic means having empathy for others and for herself. So if that is an energy that you are, even sharing with someone, or that is just representing you around this time, Virgos, this feminine water emotional energy here, or that you are just very in tune with, maybe being very in tune with your empathic abilities for some of you around this time, learning about them, getting in touch with them, creating as an artist, practicing a healing art form, anything like that. It's would mean that it's very necessary for you to show yourself unconditional love, to condition yourself through showing yourself unconditional love, which it means showing yourself unconditional love in all aspects, mind, body, and spirit, which of course includes your emotional body. So what you need in all aspects. So that with that showing up as your advice card, there may be some specific area in there, Virgos, that is lacking a little bit, that is is not getting what it needs. And I really feel this is the only reading I've drawn a clarifier for, but I want to know what shows up. So the Seven of Swords shows up here, Virgos, as the clarifier on the Strength card. Okay. So it will be different areas for different Virgos, right? It looks like your mental and emotional world is being paid an awful lot of attention to. So, do you need more meditation time? Is it exercise time that's lacking? If you don't feel like you have time for either, you could do those together, and that could be something you check off your list. 2 at a time, 2 birds, 1 stone. A lot of people have a lot of benefit from meditating while exercising. Mutual benefit, right? So having an activity, and so being able to stay in that meditative state longer for some, and then also zoning out in that meditative state and having it push your body farther, right? Further, having it inspire longer bouts of exercise. So it can be mutually beneficial for both activities, and you can do both at once. Just a thought, because it looks like what you need is time. You need to steal some time for yourself here. For others of you, okay, now this you have to use your intuition on, and I'm going to rely on you for that, Virgos, because it looks like you're in this empathetic state, right? So feel your way through this. But if there's a Leo around you that you're suspicious of, there may be a reason why. Maybe a Leo that you need to keep your eye on. Specific for some, very specific for just some Virgos. I wouldn't get too hung up on the signs. So maybe this is also just someone who's very prideful around you that you're suspicious of. and how their dealings, their attitude, their behavior, their vendettas maybe is coming to mind, might affect you and your, immediate situation. Some of you are trying to rebuild with someone. Some of you are resisting things falling apart that need to. But I do think that for most, this is showing up to say that you need to steal some time for yourself. And for some of you, it's meditation. For others, it's exercise. For some, it's both. For some, it's time to pay attention to what you're eating, to paying attention to your diet, or just streamlining one for yourself, organizing one for yourself. Fill in the blank, right? There's something, again, conditioning yourself through unconditional love is going to mean showing yourself love in all aspects. What do you need mentally, emotionally, and physically? So it's going to be different for each of you, what's missing. Again, you can feel your way through that. But as an artist, as a healer, or an artist of any type, or as an empath, what all three of those have in common is that they, you have to take care of yourself in all aspects. You learn very early, very quickly that what is affecting you physically is affecting you mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And the same is true for all aspects. If it's affecting you emotionally, it is seeping into your mind, into what's manifesting for your physical health. If it's affecting you mentally, absolutely, it's going to affect your emotions. And again, how it manifests in your physical body, etc., right? So it's all connected, and you have to make sure that you're paying attention to all those areas before you attempt to do your best in this art form, whether this is a creative pursuit or a healing art form of some type, or just taking care of yourself as as someone who's empathic, right? So Virgos, I feel like that was the longest reading, and it was the only one that I felt like I had to draw a clarifier for. Maybe you're needing extra attention right now. That's so funny. You're needing extra attention, and so this is telling you to pay extra attention to yourself, and I'm in this flow, and I'm wanting to give you some special extra attention. That's so funny. And that's what you need to do. You need to give yourself some extra time. You're worth it. You deserve it. You have to be the one who does it, though, right? So I love you, Virgos, and I hope the needed insight was able to reach you here. If it didn't resonate, that doesn't mean that another full moon reading won't. So I hope you'll check back. I'm also doing daily readings as often as possible. They're daily as much as possible. They're daily right now. So check into those as well. But they're for like the moon transit. So if I miss a few days here or there, they're normally pick a cards that I've done instead, or like these full moon readings that I'm doing, or there's at least one out for that moon transit. So check into the lunar pools. There's pick a card readings. One of them is called What Else Do You Need to Know Now? That's a recent one. And one is called This or That. Which path do I choose, or should I choose? Something around that. So check that out as well. And otherwise, I love you, Virgos, and I hope you make wise decisions for yourselves moving forward. I will post another reading for you just as soon as I can. Hey, Libra. This is your full moon reading for the time surrounding and following October the 13th, 2019. The full moon is in Aries, of course. So happy birthday again, Libras. How is cardinal air faring at this time surrounding the full moon in their season? 3 of Wands. I was just about to say that I hope Libras, that you are making the most of the end of your season, and it looks like you are. This is the Three of Fire, the Three of Acorns in this deck. This depiction notes foresight and exploration as keywords. This is representing you at this time. I see Libras taking a second step forward on down a path in a chosen direction that you've already decided upon. Being afforded the opportunity to, maybe you've been waiting for your ships to come in a sense. You are proceeding forward with confidence, walking that fine line between confidence and arrogance, right? Proceeding confidently, confident enough to take that second step down this path in this chosen direction, but still minding your P's and Q's, right? Still paying attention to what needs done on your part as you move forward, what you need to learn in order to progress forward, right? Foresight and exploration. So again, not proceeding with arrogance. Confidence, yes, but not arrogance. So you know that there are still steps that need to be taken, and it's your work that needs to be done here. Your advice is to forge ahead, move forward with that same confidence, with a youthful energy here that allows nothing to stop it, to stand in its way. The Chariot card is a Cancerian card. Discipline and determination are noted in this particular depiction. Libras, this is the SpirtSong Tarot deck by Paulina Cassidy. If you're interested in this imagery, in this deck, or any of the decks I'm using in this full moon session, you can just scroll down to the description box below to check out more information on that. But yeah, this is telling you to continue in this direction, progress forward with this goal being your main priority, or at least one of them. Again, this always brings an energy of youthful confidence and allowing nothing to stand in your way, sometimes even mowing down things that stand in your way on this path. It's an energy of victory, but also a reminder too that victory is only the beginning. So you want to keep that in mind as well. Foresight combined with that message that victory is only the beginning here can be telling you that you have a lot to learn, a lot to prepare for. A lot of this is like the second step on a chosen path, right? And a lot of steps in the future are going to have to do with things you've never done before, frankly, Libras. You also have Aquarian energy showing up on the bottom of the deck. Some of you are dealing closely with an Aquarian energy, or Aquarian energy in your own chart, your own makeup traits is highlighted around this time perhaps. This is the Judgment card in more traditional decks. It's called Awakening here. We see renewal and enlightenment as keywords. So Libras, yes, it does look like you taking this second step forward in your chosen direction, on your chosen path, does require a lot of discipline and determination, specifically for most of you in terms of new routines, new rituals, new daily routines, deeper commitments to these things, or possibly to someone else. We do see that this is all about with the Awakening card, the Judgment card on the bottom of the deck, some type of renewal, a resurrection of sorts for a relationship, a connection for some of you, or the resurrection of a passion project from times past that you are injecting new life into and finally taking that second step with, perhaps. It looks like it has to do with forgiveness for many of you. So that resurrection or just this forward movement has to do with forgiveness of self and or others for a lot of you. So in order to move ahead here, it does require that you again, deep in commitment to the way in which you take care of yourself, how much time and effort you put toward this chosen path, into this chosen direction, and then the determination is going to need to show up when it's time to stick with it, and when things get rough. It looks like a path that includes all of that, and that's why we have this message here of victory being only the beginning, because it won't be easy to stick to this routine, and it won't be easy to stick with it when you're discouraged and don't have many others believing in you, maybe only yourself at certain times on this path, right? So that's what we see coming ahead. It won't be easy, but this is what victory entails, and this is how you progress forward from here. And you're really encouraged here to look at it as an exploration, Libras. Try to frame it that way. It is a certain amount of enlightenment in a certain area that is leading you to this place, right? Is encouraging you to take this second step to embrace this forgiveness, this resurrection, however it falls in line specifically for you, Libras. I do hope that the needed insight was able to reach you here. If you are interested in ordering a personal reading, just scroll down to the description box down below to check out your options, and you can find links there to go ahead and order as well. That said, I hope you make very wise choices for yourselves moving forward, and do make the most of the rest of your season and this Aries full moon energy. I love you, Libras, and I look forward to doing another reading for you just as soon as I can. Hey, Aquarius. This is your full moon reading for the time surrounding and following October 13th, 2019, tomorrow, my time. The full moon is in Aries, cardinal fire. So how are you faring? Fixed air. I want to take the two cards that flipped out for you immediately, Aquas. That's the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords. Two cards of action, passionate, maybe spiritual, creative, mental, verbal action. It looks like, first of all, the signs I see are fire and air signs, of course, specifically Sagittarius and Gemini, but also Aquarian energy, Libra energy. Of course, we're in Libra season still. And also Aries and Leo energy here as well. But I wouldn't get too hung up on the signs. It's great when it confirms certain messages for us, but we all have all of the zodiac energies in our charts at all times, or just highlighted at different times, right? We also have Piscean energy anyway. The Hangman is showing up on the bottom of the deck. And then the Knight of Cups is below that, so our third Knight. So 12, 12, 12 may be particularly significant for you around this time. Aquarians may hold an additional message for you around this time. But again, we're seeing a lot of action, passionate, mental, and emotional action taking place. It's so interesting because it's like that's happening all around you. But on the bottom of the deck with the Hangman energy, there's certainly an energy of being in between stages, projects, events, and simply waiting, being patient, almost making a sacrifice in that sense, and seeing things from a new perspective at the same time in that space, right? I think what you're advised toward around this time, Aquarians, and it's advice that I'm sure you get a lot, I'm sure we get a lot. I am an aqua moon, but is frequent meditation. So when I see frequent meditation, I think, even if they are short meditation sessions, done often, right? Many meditation sessions throughout a day, for instance. Especially if you are in what I see representing Aquarians, the space I see you in currently, Aquarians, is some of you may be dealing with the Sagittarius, yes, but I see you in a space of attracting like minds, attracting kindred spirits. This is also mystic energy speeding toward enlightenment. Some of you starting something that you then finish quickly as well. So, you know, you're sort of, you're rushing in, and whatever project you're working on, whomever you're working with, whatever it is that you're passionate about at this time, you're rushing in the sense that a lot of enlightenment is coming your way quickly. So maybe a lot of intuitive, claircognizant downloads happening during Libra seasons, a lot of just sort of knowings, coming to you and informing your path forward now. But also, so you're thrust into whatever path you're on, whatever it is you're working on, again, in the sense that you know a lot about what you want to inform your way forward, what you want that work, that project, that passion to look like. What things that you know, that you've been enlightened about recently, that you've learned about recently, that you want to inform that work, right? But with the Knight of Swords as the advice, it's saying you can be reckless at this time. You can be acting and speaking and even thinking too quickly. It's great that the enlightening downloads have come in quickly, but as far as how exactly you want to execute what you're working on now moving forward, the Knight of Swords says not to be reckless, not to rush so quickly that you end up being disrespectful to anyone you're working with, maybe, or just those around you in general. And to, as we said earlier, to meditate frequently and to make plans as and before you move forward. You are charging ahead. It's not asking you to come to a full stop. It's not asking you to do things slowly, but just to slow down a little and make some plans and definitely make time for frequent meditation. I do sense that you're in this very excited, energized state that probably won't allow for longer meditation sessions. Not as much as usual anyway, right? And so that it's a great time for frequent meditation to see what that does for you. Experiment with it, if nothing else. That may be the fresh perspective that you are invited and asked to entertain here. For instance, Aquas. There may be a reason for slowing down and allowing yourself to sort of be suspended in between projects, in between plans, in between events, with the Hangman showing up on the bottom of the deck and the Knight of Cups below that. It may be that there's someone around you who is making promises, commitments, gestures, offers that are a little premature and immature, whether this is in work or love. I do think that the offers are emotional in nature in some sense, right? So it could be that slowing down at least long enough, again, for some frequent meditation sessions and some plans regarding what you're passionately charging into is necessary, because I think you do have these kindred spirits and like-minded individuals all around you, and that's part of the excitement, that's part of the haste, that's part of the rush, is getting a lot of information and new ideas and inspiration from these energies around you, who seem to be interested in the same things you are, right? And inspire further exploration and investigation into these areas of study. That have already been enlightening you. But someone, not all of them, but someone in the mix may be a little manipulative, maybe perhaps completely unintentionally so, inadvertently so, right? Just in a sense of they have a lot of emotion to share, but they may be, overwhelmed with it. They may overwhelm you with it and not really be able to live up to their promises. It may turn out that those offers, those suggestions are really premature or immature. It might be for some of you someone who is a little jealous of you at this time, or prideful, or just unhappy in some sense. They don't mean to be, but they're just living inauthentically in some sense, if that clues you in. That's specific for some. I'd say it's particularly relevant to you if you're an Aquarius who also identifies with significant Piscean in your chart, because it does seem like this emotional offer here is being made to and towards this Hanged Man, who could be representing any of you Aquarians that feel that you're suspended in between projects, you're having to be patient. But I definitely see the message that just came through in relation to those who also identify with significant Pisces here. So that's what I see coming through for Aquarius at the time of the Aries full moon, at the end of Libra season. I do hope the needed insight was able to reach you. If the messages didn't resonate, that doesn't mean that full moons in a different month won't, Aquarians. I'm also doing the daily readings, the lunar pools again, so check those out. These are your lunar pools for the 13th, though, of course. I hope that you make wise choices for yourselves moving forward, as always. And with that, yeah, thank you so much for all of your support to Lunatics Tarot. If you need a personal reading, Aquarians, all the information is down below in the description, links, info, etc. And I will look forward to doing another reading for us as soon as I can. I love you, Aquas. Hey, Geminis. This is your full moon in Aries reading for the time surrounding and following October 13th, 2019. How is the energy of this cardinal fire full moon treating mutable air at this time? Queen of Feathers shows up for you just before this full moon, Gems, toward the end of Libra season, cardinal air season. Perception and truth are noted here as keywords on this particular depiction of the Queen of Air, Queen of Feathers, Queen of Swords in a more traditional deck. This is the card that was on the bottom of the deck when I grabbed it to use for your reading, when the SpirtSong tarot deck here sort of called to me to use for your reading. It's a Paulina Cassidy tarot deck. If you're interested in this imagery, this deck, or any of the decks that I'm using in this full moon session, you just scroll down to the description box below, Gems, where you can find more information on that. Let me put our music back on. Okay. So this Queen of Air energy, this energy of truth and perception wanting to come through even before the reading, it looks like, Gems, you are seeing the truth of things at this time. Those who come to you, those who are wanting to be around you, those who are suitors, who are interested in you perhaps, or who you are already engaged in relationships with. Whatever they come to you with, whether it is straightforward or not, you are able to see the truth of that, whether or not someone's trying to keep a veil up with you. It makes sense. I think that energy is coming through for everybody in Libra season, but particularly then those sister air signs, right? And so the same, that while that has been true throughout Libra season, the same remains true and is particularly potent right around this full moon then in Aries here, again, toward the end of cardinal air season. And you also have the 8 of Acorns, the 8 of Fire, 8 of Wands in a more traditional deck, energy here, noted here as a keyword, energy and results noted here. So you're advised to use that that ability to see the truth, that ability to rely on your own sort of, I want to say flawless, almost knowing at this time, gems, to create energy in the direction that you want. Put energy toward your goals, your passions. Put a lot of communication into play regarding your goals, your passions. You will see results where you put your energy. You know who to work with, you know who to trust, you know who to communicate with at this time, who you can communicate with honestly, openly. You're also, you know, you're able to see who you can trust, but you're also able to see who can live up to what they say they can do. In terms of work, you want to know if someone's trying to say that they're capable of something they actually don't know how to do, or that they're going to learn how to do on the job when you're employing them, something like that. Which I guess does go back to like who you can trust, but you're able to see who can live up to what they say they can do, who can really help you in terms of where you put your energy is where you will see results. Well, who else's energy is worth as much as you are in aiming for your goals and seeing the results that you want. You also have the Ace of Crystals, the Ace of Earth or Pentacles in a more traditional deck. The keywords noted here are manifestation and prosperity. So seeing results in what you are trying to manifest if you utilize this ability to see others' truth at this time. It's also requiring that you be honest with them. And you're going to be very honest with yourself about your own limitations. That's why it's another great time to put a lot of energy, communication into again what you're most passionate about, what your goals are that you're working toward, what what calls to you to put a lot of energy into at this time, whatever it is that you're really trying to manifest. And there are probably a lot of things that you would like to manifest, right? But manifestation does require that focus. So choose the one that's most important first of all, right? I think it says prosperity as well. This is an offering. So overall, this is an opportunity that is an offering from the divine for you. That clear knowing, clear seeing, that those clear cognizant downloads are going to work in your favor and allow you to make a lot of progress, maybe make up for lost time in a lot of your minds at this time, right? And see those results, see whose energy is also really worth something in terms of getting to those results, getting those manifestations to be a reality in your physical world, right? It's a secure offer, meaning that if you decide to accept the offer, if you decide to water this seed and nurture and nourish it and help it grow, right, that it is leading to that prosperity that's noted here, to security and stability later. But it is just an offer. It is just a seed. You would have to water it, and you don't have to choose to. But that's why the energy is here for you. That's the gift that it is offering you, and that's really what this time is about for you, as far as what's coming through here for the Lunartics Collective anyway. And this Queen of Feathers, this Queen of Swords, Queen of Air here, has had to earn her perception and had to earn that ability to see the truth, right? We always talk about how she has been wounded in the past. It's not easy for her to cut ties with those people that she needs to cut ties with when she sees the complete truth, the total truth, the unedited truth of everyone around her, right? And she's been burned before, which is how she's learned to see those realities, right? So for some of you, the truths that are apparent to you and taking action based on them at this time, while it is a gift, it may also cause some mental turmoil, some mental battles, some perhaps just internal mental cerebral battles within yourself, right? When we see the Five of Swords, the Five of Air upright here, which is below the Ace of Crystals, it is an opportunity for you to find balance, forgiveness, harmony, at least to create those types of connections around you if you can't find them in the ones you already have, right? But there's also strategy and resilience noted here on this particular Five of Air, right? So those challenges and the ones that are upon you now have been for a reason, have been to hone this skill, this knowing, this clear sight, clear knowing. And that's, if it's happening again now, if you're having to cut ties with certain people now, it is to push you to this place of resilience, right? This is what is expected to surface out of you, and a strategy for moving forward. It doesn't change the fact that, again, it is this opportunity to manifest something in the physical world, and it is a divine gift, an opportunity, the energies flowing and combining in such a way that these strengths in you can arise and meet this challenge and lead to something that you've been wishing for, hoping for, right? Envisioning for yourself. And you're going to do so in a very with fast movement, right? In a very quick way. This is your progress being expedited on that which you have been passionately working toward. But there is a need to certainly focus on the one thing you want to manifest most, first and foremost. And to find that resilience, if you find that ties are needing to be cut, that won't be for everyone, but for a lot of you gems. So with that, I think we will leave your lunar pool, your full moon reading for the Aries full moon there. I hope that you make the most of the rest of Libra season and this Aries full moon energy. If you do need a personal reading, just scroll down to the description box below. You can also find information on personal readings there, and the links that you would need to go ahead and order, my email address, etc. I think I already told you about the deck. Thank you so much for all of your contributions to Lunartics Tarot. As always, it's so appreciated. And yeah, I love you, gems. And I look forward to doing another reading for you just as soon as I can.